AUKUS is the new strategic allies of Australia. The UK and the US unveiled it in September 2021. It raised the question on the sovereignty of neighbors, especially the relationship of Australia with Southeast Asian countries. AUKUS is a trilateral deal of Australia with the United Kingdom and the United States to provide Australia with nuclear submarines for the Pacific Ocean. The Guardian mentioned on March 14, 2023 that the cost for this project for Australia was $368 billion. This project has to be completed till 2050, and it is also decided in the deal that Australia will also burn its $9 billion on this project for the next 4 years. Voices arose from all around Australia as Australian neighbours have deep concerns with this deal. New Zealand, China and other countries have serious concerns with the deal. Let's break the nuts by answering the questions. What are the objectives of these three countries behind the AUKUS deal on nuclear submarines? What will be its impact on free trading deals of Australia with Pacific countries, especially Southeast Asian countries? How can non-nuclear proliferation agreements be affected by this deal? How much trade, and especially Chinese trade, is conducted through Asia-Pacific route? What global impacts can be on the world, transferring from trade to threats for routes? With respect to the AUKUS nuclear submarine deal, BBC quoted British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on September 16, 2021 that this step will empower the Australian defence system. On the other hand, Chinese officials claim that this step is creating tension in the disputed territories of the South China Sea. BBC further explained that this step can affect Five Eyes intelligence sharing allies in which Canada and New Zealand are included. Nautilus Institute for Security and Sustainability is an authentic platform which issues reports on threats of nuclear war, energy insecurity and climate change in Asia-Pacific region. It reported on February 22, 2023 that Australian Naval Forces, known as the Royal Australian Navy, has no experience of operating nuclear submarines, so these will be the US and the UK forces who will operate the submarines in the sea. It is further mentioned that Australia would have an agreement with the International Atomic Energy Agency for covering the enriched uranium fueling reactor. It also mentioned that the US had put Australia's relationship into danger with China without any defense agreement for future threats. Andrew Tiller and Tom McRoy told in Australian Finance Review on March 12, 2023 that over 20,000 new jobs will be created and there will be 8,500 direct jobs in the country. The submarines will be deployed in 2027 in Perth City of Australia. The US Defense Department claims that the US wants to strengthen the defense security, supply chains, technology and industrial bases of Australia, as it is a fundamental right of every country. The Observer Research Foundation reported on October 21, 2021 that AUKUS step will give Australia the right to be a member of 6 global powers quadrilateral dialogue perspectives, which consist of the UK, the US, Russia, France, China and India. It is perceived that AUKUS will also execute its movement against the Chinese adventurism in Indo-Pacific Ocean. The criticism on the deal is clear that this deal is about creation of new tensions in Asia-Pacific, especially for China. Chinese perspectives is clear as spokesperson of China, Mr. Wang Wenbin tweeted that there are tensions due to AUKUS in Asia-Pacific as economic integration, cooperation, solidarity and integrity are core aspects of China, whose examples are RCEP and CPTPP. RCEP is the world's largest agreement of free trading between 15 countries, including China and Australia, and CPTPP is the comprehensive and progressive agreements of trade between these Asia-Pacific countries, while AUKUS initiative is to start a new Cold War, division and confrontation in the region. The Chinese perspective is clear that due to the US and the UK intervention in the region, the new Cold War can be started and China will have threats for its routes and agreements of trading. China wants to clear that the trilateral AUKUS nuclear submarine agreement between the US, the UK and Australia will put the peace on fire. Voice of America reported aggression of China in this regard on March 15, 2023 that the AUKUS nuclear power submarines agreement is path of errors and danger for the countries. For a long time, Australia and New Zealand had been the countries of peace and non-nuclear countries and had been believing in nuclear-free states. New Zealand still had been living in nuclear-free space. Spokesman of New Zealand of Foreign Affairs, Jerry Brownlee expressed that AUKUS agenda is labeling China as enemy. Rubin staff in The Diplomat has exposed on April 4, 2023 that the Labour Party of New Zealand had shown interest in AUKUS for accessing the technology and further securities. The China Power Project explored that $5.3 trillion trade is undertaken globally in a year, while about $3.37 trillion trade is undertaken through the Asia-Pacific Ocean, and $874 million trade is of China. It is further elaborated that about 60% of Chinese trade is accelerated through the Asia-Pacific Ocean. It is estimated that maritime trade is 80% on the oceans, and the busiest route is the Asian-Pacific route. It can be said that Asia-Pacific Ocean had been a safe route, and this route is aligned with the countries that are conducting effective and progressive trade, but the AUKUS step has created disturbance in the ocean. Australian nuclear free space policy has been diverted, which has raised questions that the world is converting in bloc rather than mutual harmony. On one hand, China believes in trade and investment, while on the other hand, the US and the UK are going to involve in nuclear expansion. Formerly, Ukraine had been destroyed due to European and US globalist policy, while these globalists seem to create new tensions in the Southeast Asian region, where bulk of trade is conducted. Peace is ideal and cooperation is long-lasting. It looks like the US and the UK want to create bondages for the Chinese route and want to dismiss its economic position rather than investment. Fire is everywhere where US proxies are, but counter strategies can be there to have more allies with China. A new wave of armed expansions can be expected for counter threats and defense lines. New colonial approach can be seen in this scenario in the name of bases, technology, security, and defense. We guess that new rivals, instability and insecurity of the region is not far away after creating tensions in the trade routes. It is up to the viewers now what strategy they think that can be better: expansion of nuclear trade zones or investing for economic development for prosperity of the countries.